Hey everybody, Hearts Found wants to give a special shout out to Patty Foley for being our special guest last week. Thank you very much, Patty. On today's episode of The Heart of Food, we are going to do candied lemon rinds. First, we're going to need a lemon, and then I'm going to show you a little trick on how to take the lemon peels off. You're going to make 4 cuts on your lemon, so that it's about this size, and you're going to take a spoon and just keep going underneath of it until you get your lemon peel. Once you've got all your lemon peels, you are going to boil them in water 4 times until they get tender and until they start losing the pith, okay? Like this right here. Then once you've done that, you're going to cut these into strips and you're going to boil them in a pot with 2 cups of sugar and 2 cups of water. Boil that, bring that to a boil until it clears and you've got a syrup starting, a simple syrup starting. Then you're going to take your lemon peels, cut them into strips, and put them in the water. Start it on high and bring it down to about a medium high and just let it reduce until it starts candying. Once that syrup gets thick and starts candying, then you'll take the lemon peels out and you'll put them on a sheet pan. And then you can sprinkle them with a sugar, and then you're done. You let those sit off to the side and you'll be all done. If you want to do those with oranges, you can. If you want to do them with grapefruits, you can. If you do them with grapefruits and you make candied grapefruits, cook it a little bit longer, maybe 5 or 6 times to get the bitterness out of the grapefruit. If you want to do oranges, you won't have to do them as much because there's no bitterness in the orange. And then once you do it, you follow the same procedure. Simple syrup and reduce it until it gets syrupy. Then once you've strained them and you've put them on a tray, what you can do with that simple syrup is pour it into a mason jar and let it cool off, and that'll be your simple syrup. If you want to make any kind of pastries, if you want to make a tea, a sweet tea, add a little bit of that because it's going to be very strong, and just do it a little bit at a time. And that's what you do on the lemon peels. So after you've boiled your lemon peels and it's getting syrupy, you set them on a sheet pan and sprinkle them with sugar. And that's what they'll look like as soon as they dry out. And then you can chop them up and put them in different things, salads, cookies, pastries, but then you'll have lemon peels. And if you want to do your peels together to make a real nice flavored sugar, you can do that with the lemons and the oranges, and that makes a really nice simple syrup. Now we're going to do cookies, lavender, lemon, cookies, lemon. We're going to do a candied cowboy cookie. We are going to start our candied lavender. So we are making candied lemon cowboy cookies. Yes! And we are starting the creaming process like we always do on making cookies. We're going to cream sugar and oil, which is going to be 4 ounces of butter, 4 ounces of oil, salad oil. We're going to turn the mixer on, and we're going to add the brown sugar and the white sugar. We're going to cream that really good until we don't see any margarine or the oil. Okay, this is the important part of the cookies. Starting off is always important, as in every recipe of baking. We're going to slow this down. I'm going to add a teaspoon of lemon extract. And cream it some more. And scrape it down. Like I said, it's really important that you scrape your bowls down because you want to get all of the ingredients married into your cookie batter, cookie dough. Okay. Next, we are going to add 2 eggs. Once again, the eggs are farm fresh eggs from East Texas and patty folded. Turn the machine off. So we just put the eggs in, not the shells. And turn it back on so we can incorporate it. Next, we're going to add the leavening agent. The leavening agent, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the baking powder and baking soda into the flour and give it a quick stir. What happens on that is that the baking soda goes out while the baking powder goes up. And that's why I like to call it the yin and yang of the leavening and the cookie dough. We're going to slowly add the flour. Get it all creamed up. Halfway through, I'm going to stop and scrape the bowl down so I can get all the ingredients well distributed. Turn it back on, and we're going to add the rest of the flour. This is kind of a 3-part recipe in that the flour is going to be incorporated with the leavening agent and the eggs, and then we're going to take this out of the mixer, straight down the paddle, put it in there, scrape it down really good. Like I said, everything needs to be incorporated. As you can see, the batter is nice and smooth and all the ingredients are in. Now we're going to take the Rice Krispies, the oatmeal. Don't use steel cut because they don't really incorporate well into the cookie dough, and coconut. Okay. Right now, we're going to incorporate the lemon peels. Get them all in there because that's a lot of good flavor. Then we're going to put a twist on this, and we are going to do lavender. And we're going to let the lavender just fall down and go into the cookie batter. And we don't really want the stem in there, we just want the flowers. So we'll take the stem out, get any little pieces that are still on there. And what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate the both of them. And clean the bowl out really good. And give this a quick stir. this is really a good cookie dough, even if you don't want to put the other ingredients in, because there's nothing wrong with a Cowboy cookie. I remember back in the election of Bush and Gore, the First Ladies, Mrs. Gore and Mrs. Bush, had a cookie off. And she entered the Cowboy cookie recipe, and she won. So now we get this all incorporated. And we are ready to start dropping these. This is a drop cookie recipe, which is you can either take your hands with gloves on or take a tablespoon and just drop them. They're not going to spread that much, and we're going to cook them at 350 for about 11 minutes. And there we go. We are ready for the oven. Now that we've incorporated everything into this cookie dough, you don't want to shape them. And what I like to do is really do them by hand and just put a little bit down there and let them stick up a little bit. That way when they cook, they look a little bit better. I don't really like shaping them, and sometimes it changes the complexity of the cookie when you do that. So I like to handle them as less as possible. We're going to put about a dozen on here. And I tell you what, they smell really good right now. And I can't wait to get them out of the oven. I know that lavender is going to kick a little bit of sweetness in there. Oh yeah, yep. Oh yeah. And there we go. Here we are back in the kitchen doing a vinaigrette. This is a lemon vinaigrette from all the lemons that we made on the peels. I just saved it. It's a vinaigrette, basic vinaigrette. You can do this in a mason jar. You can do it in a Cuisinart. You can do it in one of these processors, these mixers if you want. All you're going to do is put all the ingredients except the oil, and you're going to just make it like a vinaigrette, emulsified vinaigrette. I'm the only one here, so I don't want my bowl to move, so I put a wet towel underneath the bowl and it doesn't move. Okay, now I'm going to stream this a little bit at a time. Until it gets an emulsification, and I'll start streaming a little bit better. And we're almost done. Like I said, you can do this in a couple of other different vessels to make it if you don't want to take the time and do it like an emulsified. I just think this one looks better because it comes together very nice. And you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm finishing this vinaigrette with fresh lemon juice, and that helps on the emulsification because acid always does. And it looks very, very nice. As we see, a lot of color, a lot of solid. We're going to set this off to the side, and you can just leave this at room temperature because there's not really anything that's going to spoil on you. And what you want to do is if it separates, just give it a quick shake. You can see how nice that dressing is in there. Now we're going to make a stuffed tomato salad with tuna fish. And all I'm going to do is just scoop a little bit of the tuna salad in the tomatoes to make a nice presentation. And these tomatoes are from East Texas. They are so good. I mean, it's almost like aroma because they're so meaty. And there you go. A stuffed tomato salad with tuna and the garnish. And we're just going to pour a little bit of this dressing on the salad part and enjoy it. Top off today's menu, we're going to do an Arnold Palmer tea. What I'm going to do is I've steeped some tea really strong. I'm going to pour it in here. The lemons that we use for the candied lemon peels, I saved one just for this, and I'm going to break it up and put it in the tea to let it macerate and make this a lot better. The sugar that I cooked the lemon peel in is, I strained it, and I'm going to use this as my sugar. Remember, this is very strong, so a little's going to go a long way. I'm going to just do a couple little spoonfuls just like that. And I'm going to add the fresh lemon juice, about a cup. And there you have it.